Since the early explorers first discovered the New World and wrote of their travels, people wanted to know more about its ancient civilizations. The most obvious evidence of prehistoric cultures in North America is the presence of mounds. During the early centuries of America's birth, mounds were seen as piles of dirt impeding to farming and technology. The two most important questions regarding mounds during the early centuries were who built them and why were they made. Thanks to archaeology, we now know who built the mounds, but the question of why still remains. In this documentary, we will explore how mounds symbolize the connection prehistoric people felt towards nature and the earth, and how mounds represented a connection to the gods who made the rules and taught people how to live. These rules and life lessons are reflected in the creation of symbols and myths, as well as in the construction of mounds. Whether functioning as altars during ceremonies or serving as refuge during floods, mounds were an important part of prehistoric North American culture. Archaeological investigations have greatly contributed to our understanding of prehistoric religion and mound usage. However, the original functions of mounds remain unknown. What we do know is that mounds help define space, symbolize nature, and were central to ceremonies in addition to performing their mundane functions. Most importantly, the mound area was recognized as the sacred space for ceremony. Mounds are some of the most important factors in determining prehistoric rituals, as well as conveying political and social ideology. Since much of the premise of prehistoric religious beliefs could be found in nature, mounds were the symbolic representation of nature. The most noted and studied mounds in the southeastern United States are those of the Mississippian culture, specifically the platform mounds. However, the prehistoric use of mounds extends much farther into the past. Archaeological investigations have uncovered ritual use of mounds as far back as the Archaic period. To the southeastern Indians, mounds represented purity and balance because mounds symbolized stability as well as order and control within nature. Mound sites help archaeologists better understand the earlier southeastern cultures. The more sites that are researched and preserved enable us to further understand these early prehistoric cultures and shed some light on their belief systems, political systems, and social systems. Mounds differ in size, appearance, function, and the material used to make them. Some of them can be made from dirt, they can be made from shells, or they can be made from rocks. The mounds here at Etowah are called platform mounds. Mounds can be placed into three basic categories: conical or burial mounds, platform mounds, and effigy mounds. Two additional types of mounds include linear mounds and rock mounds. Linear mounds were possibly built as walls or walkways, as well as serving as defense. Evidence of these mounds can be found at Etowah Mound State Park in Cartersville, Georgia, or Toltec Mound State Park in Scott, Arkansas, as well as at many Adena Hopewell sites in the Ohio Valley area. The function of rock mounds are a mystery. Some theories to the purpose of rock mounds include serving as burials or as boundaries. Rock mounds were also built as walls, which almost always accompany cemeteries. Most mounds seem to contain some type of burial. Burial mounds range from small pits containing one individual to large pits containing multiple cremations or burials. Evidence in some of the larger pits suggests that interment spanned many decades of use, such as evident at Miamisburg Mound in southern Ohio. Unique to Etowah are the two stone effigies recovered from Mound C. One is a man sitting cross-legged and the other a woman kneeling. It is speculated that these effigies symbolized either the local rulers or were representations of the gods. Effigies and effigy mounds represented various spirits and their associations to the underworld and constituted clan structures and religious belief systems. Effigy mounds represented aspects of nature. Effigy mounds were constructed either in a geometrical shape or in the shape of an animal. Many prehistoric religions have animals resonating through myths and motifs. The most common animals used in the prehistoric Southeast were the snake and birds. Many Native American cultures have snake lore permeating their belief systems. The snake represented an aspect of nature that symbolizes control over natural elements as well as representing the circle of life. For example, the Serpent Mound in Peeble, Ohio is over a quarter of a mile long and is thought to represent a snake totem or snake-type deity. The Serpent Mound is the largest earthen effigy constructed in the United States. Radiocarbon dating dates the construction of the effigy to have occurred around 1000 to 1550 AD. One possible explanation of its construction could be that it is a symbolic representation of religious beliefs that the snake was a divine creature of death and rebirth. Another possible theory for the construction of the Serpent Mound could have been to mark a sacred space. The head of the mound is aligned with the summer solstice and the tail of the mound with the winter solstice. Possibly the Serpent Mound solstice alignment is representative of the cyclic nature of life. The alignment could also represent a sense of control over the elements, which is more evident by the mound's placement because it sits on the highest hill overlooking the valley below. To some cultures, the snake is seen as evil, while other cultures revere the snake as a god. The snake is a mysterious creature, and the shedding of its skin symbolizes the annual renewal of life and eternity. The snake was such a powerful deity that many Native American groups use its parts, like the discarded skin, teeth, or rattle, during rituals to obtain some of the snake's power. Of all the animal beings in this world, birds were especially important in southeastern ideology. The bald eagle symbolized peace and the perfect order of the gods. Eagles were viewed as very powerful birds because of their keen eyesight and prowess. Bird motifs have been uncovered at mound sites across the southeast, such as at Etowah Mounds. Additionally, effigy mounds were constructed in the shape of birds, such as the Rock Eagle Mound and Little Rock Hawk Mound in Eatonton, Georgia. These effigies are the only two known effigy mounds in the southeast that are east of the Mississippi River. Interestingly, these two bird effigies are thought by some to have been built by the Adena Hopewell culture of the Ohio River Valley area, thus indicating pan-regional contact. Some researchers have speculated that the Rock Eagle Mound and Little Rock Hawk Mound more resemble falcons than any other bird, and to the southeastern Indians, the falcon was the most important bird, particularly the peregrine falcon. The falcon was important because it was viewed as the swiftest bird and a most proficient hunter. Within the past few decades, more mound researchers have begun to look into the association of mounds and nature. Constructing mounds was one way for people in the community to connect to nature as well as connect to each other. As well as symbolizing nature, mounds also represented a connection to the cosmos, and the cosmos represented their gods. Nature, society, and the cosmos were all interconnected aspects of life. Many mound sites were constructed in North America with some awareness of cosmic activity, such as the Serpent Mound in Ohio and Fort Ancient. Mound H at Toltec State Mound Park is aligned with the solstice sunsets. At the sunset, rays of sunlight reflect off this mound, sending a ray of light to adjacent mounds. Along with patterns in the sky, prehistoric groups designated sacred space based on context of nature. Many recognize sacred spaces as specific places in nature, such as waterfalls, mountains, and streams. Many prehistoric belief systems involved a connection to nature, and nature played an important role in their daily lives. Evidence of prehistoric daily lives and ceremonies can be illuminated from archaeological testing, artifact analysis, and the study of mounds. However, interpreting prehistoric religion archaeologically is a difficult task because we can only infer what past cultures truly thought or believed. Nonetheless, the types and qualities of artifacts and other symbolic objects found in contact with features such as burials and mounds provide archaeologists with evidence of prehistoric life and religion. Mounds were important in prehistoric religion because they were symbolic representations of nature, like miniature mountains or earth icons. The symbolic associations of nature and ritual usually represented a means of controlling nature as well as revering the awesome powers of nature. Therefore, mounds played a key role in prehistoric ceremonies such as the green corn ceremony. For many Native American groups, both prehistoric and historic, the green corn ceremony has been by far the most important of their seasonal ceremonies. The green corn ceremony was celebrated as an annual renewal ritual marking the end of one period and the beginning of a new period. The ceremony can be thought of as a type of Thanksgiving celebrated after the annual corn harvest. The precise time at which it was held coincides with the ripening of the crop of late corn, and this could be anywhere from late July to early September. Moreover, the whole act of celebrating the green corn ceremony was to revere nature for providing sustainability. Mounds were important in the green corn ceremony because they signified the connections between the gods, people, and nature. Another way of connecting to the gods and nature was by dancing, and dancing was an essential part of all ceremonies. Dancing represented aspects of nature as well as providing a means to honor nature and the gods. The act of preparing the mound tops for dancing was a symbolic process as well. A thin layer of soil was added and smoothed down before dancers were permitted to perform on the platform. Adding the soil helped purify the mound. Mounds served as a focal point for certain green corn ceremony dances like the buffalo dance or war dance. Mounds were seen as symbols of renewal and purification that affected people on a communal scale. By constructing the mounds, people were connecting to the earth. The idea that prehistoric people used mounds religiously is a general consensus among most archaeologists. Mounds, sacred spaces, and religious paraphernalia are all valuable sources for understanding prehistoric religions. Probably the biggest impediment to the preservation of culture and nature is technology, because roads must be laid, buildings built, and trees cut down. One major component of an archaeological site that is often overlooked is the surrounding landscape and associated foliage. Studying the landscape is imperative to the study of archaeology because of the associated symbology found within that landscape. Even by looking at the ways landscapes have been altered in the past, researchers could be able to discern something about human nature that could benefit all societies. By understanding what people in the past saw every day, we can better discern how they thought and what they believed, as well as illuminate our own connection to nature and the divine.